Hey guys, before we start the episode, we just wanted to let you know that we are on most podcasting apps. If you can't find us, look at one of the big ones. We're definitely there. YouTube, Google, iTunes. Do they call it iTunes? No, mate. Apple Podcasts. Spotify and Stitcher. Thank you. Okay, now enjoy the show.
Previously on No Inner Monologue.
We've been talking about AC/DC, but we have not brought up their biggest song, in my opinion, "Stairway to Heaven."
That wasn't them. That was Led Zeppelin, dude.
Was it? Oh, yeah.
From the 7-ish Studios in Mississauga, Ontario, it's the No Inner Monologue podcast.
Hello, and welcome to No Inner Monologue.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Well, maybe this is somebody's first time.
Yeah.
And if it is your first time, welcome.
You made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
I believe you are looking for the other podcast.
Yeah.
There actually is one called My Inner Monologue.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's hope they misspelled it and found us instead.
Yeah. So welcome to No Inner Monologue. My name is Latasha Morrison, and with me is
Joey Mangione.
Dwayne Norona.
And away from us,
All the way in the Philippines.
Yay!
No, not yay. It's nay.
that was the weirdest thing you probably.
It's me. It's Manoa.
It's creepy
May,
Uncle
it's
Manny.
It's creepy Uncle Manny.
It's your creepy uncle
Yeah.
from the Philippines.
It's Tito then.
Creepy Tito Manny.
Creepy. Yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
we have a very interesting show today.
I like to think all of our episodes are interesting, but I like where you're
Stop
going with this.
lying to the audience.
Stop lying to them. There's a very interesting show today. We're going to continue with our series with music. Last week we did classic rock.
We did.
Classic rock it was, and I actually listened to a lot of classic rock like since after the show, and I was like, I like
Oh,
that
yeah, so
genre.
did I.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
But see,
It's
here's the thing.
Not
Like
a competition, Manny.
I know. Yeah, so did I.
me hearing that you listen to
I-
classic rock, Tash, doesn't actually surprise me because when we've talked about music in the past and, you know, rock has been brought up, you are quite knowledgeable. So
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I love classic rock.
I think I even said it in the last episode. You have such a wide taste in terms of music that
Yes, that's why today is so important because we're moving on from classic rock.
To something Tash has never heard before.
Yeah,
she has no idea what this
I have
is.
no idea what we're going to be talking about today. That's why I'm like leading the podcast. But
That's never been a thing before.
I know, yeah.
That's just silly.
This is silly. But today we are going to talk about hip hop. Hip hop. Hip to the hip hop, and you don't stop.
Be careful before we get in trouble.
I know. And then I'll stop right there.
Just
Copyright.
please stop. Yes,
What
Manny?
is the copyright law on that, anyways?
I don't know. Look
She
it up.
didn't actually sing it. She's just talking with the lyrics out.
Yeah.
If she was playing the song like Hadaway last week,
Did we get burned by that?
well, YouTube asked us said that we can't legally put we got dinged by putting that episode up on YouTube because Hadaway
Really?
is very
Are they litigious?
it's not him, it's its record label, right?
Right.
So, and we put up content that's not, I guess.
Hours.
And we didn't even put up that much.
Well,
we were
I think that the law is sort of like 6 seconds or something like that. So,
oh, okay.
yeah.
I thought it was like 30.
Yeah, no.
I guess not.
Apparently not.
30 seconds. That's a long time.
It isn't. It isn't though. Right? Because if you think about it, 30 seconds isn't that long, but you know, sometimes it's an eternity.
That's what she said.
Okay. We're all in shock right now. What is wrong
What
with you?
just happened?
What happened there? Anyway,
Did you just see your penis? Is that why you laugh so hard?
What just
No,
happened, Manny? What the fuck just
30
happened?
seconds is not that. Did you just said 30 seconds is not that long?
Okay. There wasn't a joke there.
And I go, that's what she said.
Oh God. Okay. Anyway,
You laughed first, so no one knew what the hell you're talking about.
Exactly. Okay,
With
so
a really fake laugh.
I know it's the most fakest laugh I've ever heard. Anyway, so when talking about, Manny brought up a really good question because he thought we were going to talk about rap today, which in technicality we are. But rap and hip hop are two different things. I don't know if you guys knew that or you were aware
Please
of it.
elaborate.
Please elaborate. Okay, so to put it in layman's terms, rap
Layman's
is,
terms.
yeah.
Ooh, I like this.
Rap is the poetry
Of the streets.
of the okay, if you want to say it like that, that's actually
Of the
kind of
streets?
correct. Rap is more of a poetry. It's more poetry set to a rhythm, whereas hip hop is considered more of a subculture. So hip hop is actually broken up into 4 key stylistic elements. So there's MC and rapping, DJing and scratching, breakdancing, and graffiti writing. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I did not realize graffiti writing was
Yeah.
in the realm of hip hop.
You see that a lot in like Brooklyn. One person that really does well with depicting the beauty of graffiti is Spike Lee, who is a director. He's a very famous director. If you see any of his movies
has
or
many
shows,
joints.
yeah, he has many joints.
He is the current Oscar-winning
Yeah,
director.
yeah. No, he didn't win he won for adapted screenplay.
Okay.
Yeah, but he won. Thank
won.
God. Yeah. So
Does he have a director winning credit?
no,
No.
He's never.
He's
He's
always-
never
He
been
got
nominated
nominated for... No.
Oh,
got
he was nominated
he got
for-
nominated this time, too.
for Do the Right Thing.
And for Black Klansman.
Yeah.
So
he
he's
got-
been
yeah.
nominated. He
Yeah,
just
he's
doesn't
just
want.
not-
So he's like a Scorsese in regards until like.
Yeah, recently, but he only won for the screenplay, which is a win in itself.
Again, Scorsese would do that too. He'd win for like something kind of like it. And then it's like, wait a minute.
Those
His
guys-
movie was like the best movie out there this year. How'd that
Sometimes
happen?
those guys don't need the win. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
exactly. He was one of those
I was
directors
going
that
to
didn't
watch
need
The
the win.
Departed anyways.
Departed.
Are you a cop? Are you a cop?
But yeah, Spike Lee movies are awesome in regards. So, what do you mean, like how he depicted like
Like if
with
you
graffiti?
see, like he's very. If you watch any Spike Lee joint, that's what he calls it. He's very good at depicting the artwork on the walls. Usually, obviously, graffiti is on the walls of things, and it is a true part of
Sorry,
the hip hop
Manny, what are you
culture.
doing over there,
I don't know.
Did
I
you
don't know
say-
what he's doing.
Manny?
Well, you see, I don't know. I'm here, right? I was just letting you guys talk because that actually, what Tasha's describing is how I actually remember New York in the 80s. Whenever I would go into the subways or I would walk around in my neighborhood, there actually was graffiti all over the place. And it was just, it was like a mural.
Mural?
A lot of it was beautiful. It was beautiful, right?
Hold on, I have a question.
And
for you,
I
though.
didn't realize that there was yeah.
How old were you when you moved to New York?
I left New York when I was about 8 or 9 years old.
How old were you when you moved?
When I came to Canada, I was 12.
Went to New York. How old were you when you moved to New York?
Oh, well, sorry, I didn't hear you. I was 3.
Okay.
We're just trying to get the timeline straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a time
So, yeah,
traveler.
So I remember. So I remember that, and it was actually really interesting. You walk around, and I mean, and it's like one of my earliest memories is actually seeing, like you're like like a bunch of dudes hanging out in because in Brooklyn, right, in that area, like the buildings don't go more than 3 or 4 stories, so they had the giant ghetto blaster, just blasting on the front steps of it, but to power it though, they actually had an extension cord running from the 3rd floor down to power it.
Oh, really? That's
Oh, yeah.
relevant to
And,
what we're
I mean,
talking
Wasn't
about.
there an outlet on like the ground floor? I feel like that's an excessive
and
use of an
fucking-
extension
hold on.
cord. cord.
And
Did at
talking about
6
Martin
p.m.
Scorsese isn't?
Did it, at 6 p.m. did everyone run into their houses because 106 and Park played? Was there a dog walking a ghetto bastard and he would talk to a girl and then she'd have to get on the bus, but the driver would be like, no ghetto blasters on the bus, so the dog just waited outside.
I saw that video. I love that video. That's an amazing video.
Okay, anyways, back to hip hop. What the hell is going on here? Anyways, back to hip hop.
I don't think Tash saw the video.
So
So, Tash, what you were saying, though, the rap is the poetry of the streets, and it has that whole culture thing. What is hip-hop, then?
hip-hop is as I said, it encompasses 4 stylistic kind of
Art forms?
mediums, elements. So emceeing and rapping is one of them. The DJing and the scratching is another. Breakdancing and graffiti writing. So when we're even talking about DJing and scratching and even breakdancing, because we'll get into rapping a little bit later, one of the pioneers, or in the streets, I guess you could say, they would call Africa Bambaataa. I don't know if anybody has heard of him.
I've really only heard about it from you.
Oh, really?
Samesies.
Well, he's one
But,
of
Tash,
the...
I thought out in the...
Sorry, go ahead.
He's going
Sorry,
to
I
do
thought
something
out-
stupid.
Oh, I
Street,
thought
they call
out
it
in the
murder?
streets they called it murder.
Well, you know what? I'm not even going to even answer that. Anyway. Okay.
This is upsetting.
So, for those who don't know who Africa Bambaataa is, he's one of the originators of the breakbeat DJing style. So, so those, you know, when you're doing breakdancing, he's one of those. Do you guys know breakdancing beats? I might play some over this, but anyway.
Okay.
Is there a song you would associate with breakdancing beats?
Yeah. Can you
It's
think
like
of a
that.
song?
It's like that with Jason Nevins
It's
and
like that.
yeah,
It's
and that's
just
the
the
way
way
it
it
is. Yeah. But that's the type of music that you would associate with breakdancing. That's off the top of my head.
Right.
But they call him the Godfather or Amen-Ra of hip hop culture, as well as the father of electro funk as well. So.
Is Rapper's Delight considered in that category?
Yeah, that Sugar Hill Gang, they would be considered under the emceeing rapping element.
Yeah.
Element. So as I said, so rap is the poetry of it. So they wrote Rapper's Delight, and that was obviously that's a separate element from the hip hop culture. So yes
just,
and no to your answer.
I'm gonna go a little off topic, but it's still within the realm. Have you ever seen a Netflix series called The Get Down?
Yes.
Yes, and it's a very
Right.
good show.
So
I think they
it's very
canceled
good
it.
right now. That group, are they loosely based off the Sugar Hill Gang?
I don't know.
I mean,
But like,
Right? Because
it's a possibility.
Like, yeah, it's I'm not too sure. I watched that show. It was like a couple of years ago that came
I think
out.
it's also like it might be based on them. It might be based on a bunch of other bands from the same or groups from the same time, just so you're not having to pay any royalties or anything like that.
So it's like an amalgamation of like groups of the era.
Yeah, but like, so Tash, would you consider stuff like a lot of like Run DMC's style, that sort of breakdance music style, like that?
Yes, there are some songs that Run DMC. That's why I have like a little bit more of. I have a lot of information on Run DMC because they kind of took all of the elements.
Yeah.
And use it to their advantage. So, and that's why they became so big and so popular. So if you guys don't know anything about Run DMC, I'm going to educate you right now.
Educate.
I'm gonna educate you fools.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Run DMC.
It was like the Mexican Mr. T over there.
I know. Yeah.
Senor Tete.
Yeah. So Run DMC.
That does not sound like Mr. T. That sounds something like.
So it sounds so weird.
Sounds inappropriate, to be honest. It sounded like you said Mr. Titty.
Yeah. which we know you are not.
Well,
Yeah. So anyway, so Run DMC was a hip hop group that was composed of 3 individuals. There was Jam Master Jay. Oh my God, now I'm
Reverend Run.
Reverend Run.
Jesus.
Jam Master Jay, Reverend Run. Oh my God, I forgot the last guy.
what about DMC?
Yeah, there we go. Anyways, the group.
It's in the name.
It's in the name, yeah.
Seriously,
so,
dude.
I just forgot. Because I'm
Seriously.
thinking about other things.
You're supposed to lead this?
Yeah, so I'm supposed to lead it.
I'm frightened.
So the group broke up in 2002 because of the death of Jam Master Jay, which is unfortunate because...
Yeah, I don't think that's a breakup.
Yeah, well, they decided to
They parted
disband.
way.
Like,
They disbanded.
Well,
he died.
amicably.
Yeah, he died.
Yes.
And that is one of the murder cases that they still haven't solved to this day.
Which is
Oh, it was a homicide.
Dude,
Yeah,
the
it was
guy
a
walked
homicide.
into a studio and shot him.
And just shot him and
Really?
then walked right out.
I did not know that.
He
That's
was. They were recording. Well, I don't know if he was recording something for himself or somebody else, but some guy walked into a studio. How is that unsolved?
Yeah, it's... I
You'd think somebody would have seen him walk in and walk out, right?
mean...
Some sort of
it's-
footage somewhere.
Or they,
right?
I mean, it is a recording studio, so you would expect that there's a recording of him.
Ooh, I see.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu has solved the case.
Out now. Anyway...
Stay tuned. Next week we'll have Ryan Reynolds on the show to talk about it.
Exactly. So yeah, the murder is still unsolved. It's one of there's a documentary on Netflix if you're interested about Jam Master Jay. It's just one of those Biggie Tupac mysteries. Also with Eazy-E from NWA and then Jam Master Jay. Like those are, some of the biggest people in rap and hip hop, and they're
Like
just their
history.
murders, in history, and their murders are still unsolved. Right? Well, the thing is, I believe Eazy-E
Here
was
we go.
murdered. I know. Here's
Here we
my
go.
thing.
Oh, here we go.
Just look up Eazy-E from NWA.
The views and thoughts of Latasha Morrison are hers alone and does not reflect the views and thoughts of the rest of the members of No Inner Monologue.
Please remember
Continue.
That. Please remember that, Mr. Knight.
Yeah. I
Now-
didn't say he did.
Now,
Anyway.
now, continue with what you were trying to say there,
Yeah.
Tash.
Okay. So Run DMC, their music was a mix of hard rock and traditional hip hop. And there was a song, I don't know if you guys heard the song Rockbox. Rockbox?
Yep.
You guys heard that song? So it was their third single that was released, and it's actually cited as one of the most groundbreaking hip hop songs of all time.
Well, they're arguably one of the most groundbreaking hip hop groups ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, they were the only hip hop group to do Live Aid in 1985.
Yeah, they were the only one on the bill.
They were the only one.
That was a rock concert.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're the
And-
only.
Well, I think it was because they brought hip hop outside of like black people, right? Like people knew about hip hop, but like you wouldn't listen your regular Queen, whatever.
Yeah,
Bon
your regular
Jovi-
rock
Bon
guys
Jovi
wouldn't
pop
really listen to it.
listeners
Yeah.
weren't gonna listen to hip hop. These guys like blended the two, so now they were a gateway drug to hip hop.
They
right?
were pretty much a gateway for everything
Yeah.
because they were the first music video on MTV.
Whoa,
From a hip-hop- for
First
a
hip hop video.
Yeah,
First
for a
hip-hop
Well,
video.
you didn't let me finish. For a hip hop video on MTV. Also in 2009, they became the second hip hop group to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame after Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
So there you go.
So they've done so much for the hip hop culture.
And that was the best Fast and the Furious movie.
I
All of them. So it deserved to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Was it? What was that one? Was that the one where Vin Diesel's in Brazil?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually watch them. I was just really impressed to find out
man.
that it was in
I just refer to them. I don't
Where
watch them. I refer
the one
to
where he like throws a freaking what was it? A torpedo? Like he redirects the trajectory of a torpedo with his bare hands, pretty much hanging out of like a.
the fucking writers of a Marvel movie are like, that's too unrealistic.
Yeah.
But he's the Rock. He can do anything.
That's true though.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Anyways,
I mean, he's climbed a building with duct tape.
we're going to pass it over to Joe because I know
Oh,
Joe wants to talk
hand off.
Run DMC's venture with Aerosmith. I just want to do a quick mention. My favorite Run DMC song is Christmas in Hollis.
It's a great song. It's a great Christmas song. Don't worry.
I know, and they play it in Die Hard, my favorite Christmas movie. So
That's the song.
That's the song. That's
Yeah.
the song. My first question to you is, with it's regarding the collaboration between Run DMC and Aerosmith. Who was helping whom out? Who do you guys think was helping whom out in that situation?
I'm gonna go with Run DMC is helping Aerosmith out because Aerosmith was Aerosmith,
Yeah.
right? This helps Aerosmith open up to a completely different audience than what they had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tash, who do you think was the one helping the other? Who was doing the favor?
Are we talking about financially, or are we talking about
Just in general,
In general?
who helped, who helped the other out
I
more?
would
So
actually think that it was Aerosmith maybe helping out Run DMC,
okay,
because at the time in hip hop or in rap, it was frowned upon by multiple people, as a gangster type of rhyme or a gangster type of genre. Like anything that was associated with rap was associated with gangsters. So I
would
think,
even say that's actually after that though, because then you have the whole gangster rap era in the early '90s, right?
I'll agree with Tash on.
Well, I think, but the gangster rap music gets popular, but it's not necessarily like I'm thinking when Tash is talking about it. It's probably just not out there.
Okay,
Mainstream
so it's
rap,
still
right?
fairly underground at that point.
Yeah,
And Manny, what
exactly.
did you say? So who was
I
doing the
agree with
favor
Tash
for
on
whom
this.
in this collaboration?
Aerosmith was actually helping out Run DMC simply because, like Tasha was mentioning, they were opening up listenership for Run DMC. So there's been a lot more. So they exposed Run DMC's music to a wider audience, right? People who normally wouldn't listen to hip hop, rap, or anything like that. They're like, hey, you know what? I like this collaboration. I like this style of music. I never knew I liked this style of music because at that time as well, though, anything that, like Tash said, anything related to rap was just, had a very negative undertone. It's like, oh, if you're listening to, your rap, you're probably out, like gangbanging bitches and, shooting up liquor shops.
Tash never
and
said
shit,
any of that.
right?
Wow. Gang banging bitches.
Also, podcast listeners, anytime he said I agree with Tash or, what was the word one?
Gang banging
Yeah,
bitches.
if anytime Manny says that, you have to take a drink.
Yeah.
Or I agree with Tosh says. Tosh, or referred over to Tosh. Yeah. If anytime Manny says that, you have to take a drink.
Or just drink every time Tash says her own name.
Yeah.
You'll be drunk by the end of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
Tash-
Dwayne was
Tash is
closer
finished.
in saying and being right with this.
Yeah.
The crowd
Because-
goes wild.
Yeah.
Well, not for the reasoning that you say, but you were right that it was Run DMC doing the favor.
Half a point is more than 1 point.
Then no
No
points.
points.
So, Rick Rubin was
Great breath there, Joanne.
awesome, Manny.
What did he say?
No one knows.
Jesus, why are you being such a gangbang bitch?
Yeah, man, you need to stop gangbanging bitches.
I'll gangbang you, bitch.
So, Rick Rubin was their producer on that album that Walk This Way is on, and he actually called Aerosmith's people. I'm gonna turn his mic off.
You know what I love? No, but what I love is the people in the other hotel rooms. They only hear his side.
Exactly.
That was my luck. It'll be that person I got into a fight with.
Okay,
The senator. We can only hope. So, anyways, at the time in 1986, when they were basically setting up to record this, Aerosmith was pretty much off the musical map. They hadn't had a hit since the original release of Walk This Way, which was in 1975.
Oh, wow.
So they were
It's
off
that
the map.
old?
Yeah, they were off the map for 10 years, pretty much. Like
they
nobody.
walked it away, and they were not ever.
They were well. at the time, Steven Tyler and I think Joe Perry were like, considered to be the toxic twins, and so they were really heavy into the drugs and alcohol and all that stuff. So they were really in a dark time, and so
which is kind of crazy. Sorry, but which is kind of crazy when you think of 80s rockers, and Joe Perry and fucking Aerosmith were the ones that people were like, stay away from them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? I mean, it's like, holy shit.
I think that's also like, if you listen to Aerosmith in the 70s versus Aerosmith after, Steven Tyler's voice is so different.
It's
like,
changed.
It sounds like a completely different person.
Well, yeah, because of, it's funny that you mentioned the fact that they had sort of been playing with the idea of mixing rap and rock in the past. So, I mean, for years, Jam Master Jay had been, cutting and switching it between decks like for the longest time, and Run had been like rapping over specifically Walk This Way for at least since he was 12 years old. So they knew what to do with this song before they even approached Aerosmith. Right? So it's like they had already done this collaboration years before they even had the actual like clout to even be able to talk to them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, so this wasn't Rick Rubin's like first venture into mixing rap and rock music. He tended to do it a lot. He did it previously with the Beastie Boys and LL Cool J. I think they were sampling 2 AC/DC songs. So
everyone's just like, fucking AC/DC's off the market. Let's go nuts.
Exactly. Exactly, right?
And fucking Steven Tyler, Joe Perry are just like, somebody make a hit out of one of these songs.
What year
drugs.
did Walk This Way come out?
The original or the Run version?
The Run version.
1986.
Interesting, because that's the same year that NWA formed, which is the gangster rap. So it would make sense that, I don't know, obviously during that year how it happened, but
right.
LA Police.
LA Police.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened, but it's interesting that song would be like, very, very popular, and then now they have this new gangster rap that's coming in. I don't know what the sequence is on. I might have to look it up.
Well,
but
it just the song itself essentially helped legitimize the genre, because then you had, like what Dwen said there, you had rock people listening to it, you had obviously hip hop people listening to it. It just it did spread to such a wider audience. I mean, it was the first rap single to get on Billboard's top 10, and it peaked at 4. Like that was where it ended up. The album Raising Hell became the first rap album to go platinum. Right? Run DMC becomes the first rap artist to become on the cover of Rolling Stone and all that stuff. But then there's the flip side of what happened for Aerosmith. Sorry, Manny?
Well, they became a household name after that, right?
Run DMC?
Yeah.
Yes, and it actually brought Aerosmith back into the limelight, and then they had like 2 more. The next 2 albums were like hugely successful too, and it sort of brought in Aerosmith's renaissance and helped them come back. It's just funny though that if you go looking at it, without this collaboration, Aerosmith probably wouldn't be a band anymore. Wow. And who knows what would have happened with Run DMC? They probably would have still come out and become what they were, or not. It's crazy to see how that happened.
Well, yeah, you choose timelines, right? But like, I think Run DMC was already a thing. It just wasn't. Now it
just wasn't massive.
That's
right?
just their iconic song, right?
Yeah.
But I think like when you're talking about gangster rap and Run DMC, or gangster rap versus rock rap or whatever you called it at the time, it's sort of similar to like when the Grammys finally started giving out awards for hip hop or rap. Like Will Smith won the first one.
Yeah.
Right? And there was always this thing of like, there's Will Smith and there's Ice-T and Ice-T, right?
Yeah, Will Smith,
Yeah.
Like basically like if you were looking at music rap that was popular around the same time, there would be gangster rap, there'd be like pop rap.
Yes.
Right? The clean rap, the rap that you could listen to in the car and still be kind of like whatever. And I think that's the same thing here, is that you have Run DMC that's like super popular and singing like this sort of radio rap that people can listen to on mainstream radio and whatever. And then at the same time, you have NWA coming out who are talking about a specific thing that is happening to them in a certain part of LA.
Yeah.
And it's got swearing.
Yeah,
and it's
fucking bitches and
It's actually not what.
That is
Yeah,
not
that's
what they were
what they're
talking
talking
about
about,
at
yeah.
all. Did you ever listen to it?
Did you watch
I've
the
never
movie?
The big gang war.
But that,
least,
Of
but
course,
that's,
I
least.
watched the movie, but
but that's a good conversation starter because if the genre of hip hop today is about that, like that's what the millennials. I'm just going to use
not
that
true,
word.
though.
But that's what is mainstream hip hop is.
Yeah, but so is Kendrick and so is Chance the Rapper, and those guys are
but
talking
there's
about.
so few of them.
But that's
those guys.
But that's always been the case.
that's
And
what the kids be listening to with the rap music.
Shut up, Grandpa.
That's an even worse Bill Cosby impression than
That
mine.
sounded like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but going back to a question though. Okay, going back to that collaboration between Aerosmith and Run DMC. Now, in the last few years, there was a collaboration between Linkin Park and Jay-Z.
You mean 10 years ago?
Yeah, right, 10 years, right. Now, Linkin Park was already had that that hip hoppy rap thing going on, right?
Yeah.
So who helped who in that? Who do you think who helped who in that?
Well, that's not.
Or did anyone help
here's the thing,
anyone,
though.
or was that just a dream collaboration?
Here's the thing, though. That's not even really like you've listened to those albums, right? That was an MTV produced album, and like
Yes.
those guys, for the most part, when you listen to those songs, there's no new work done there.
It's the same.
It's a
thing.
song. Yeah, it's a famous song that you know from Linkin Park. It's a famous song that you know from Jay-Z, and it's mashed together. So like it's cool and it sounds great, but I don't even think those guys were in the same studio when they recorded it.
I think this conversation goes back to what Tash had asked last week in terms of like what new band can do what a previous group had done.
But
Right, and I think that sort of goes to the same thing. Like, if you're comparing, Walk This Way and the time it came out to any new collaboration, it all depends on the collaboration, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's going to be as groundbreaking as Walk This Way was, because let's face it, Walk This Way is the first one to be popularized.
Yeah, but then I can pull back the curtain a little bit to like if you're gonna go with this, the reason why, so Gnarls Barkley, the band is DJ Danger Mouse and CeeLo Green. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Danger Mouse has an album. The reason why that Jay-Z album became a thing was because DJ Danger Mouse made this album where he took Jay-Z's Black album and he took the Beatles' White album and he mashed the songs together.
Yeah.
And he released it online. It was because he couldn't, obviously didn't own the rights to any of that stuff. So he just did it and he released it online and people fucking loved it. Like that was a collaboration that nobody, at that point, you take something like the Beatles' big album that at the time Jay-Z's big album and combine them together and actually make great stuff out of it. He even released a video.
So,
and that's what brings hip hop's. That's the thing I wanted to talk about. Hip hop is that hip hop, yes, is popular in, the charts and amongst certain groups or whatever. But for them, the big deal is mixtapes, right? And I don't understand how mixtapes work because you always hear about these Nipsey Hussle, who just passed away.
right.
Yeah.
He's huge amongst people who listen to hip hop, but he's released one studio album.
Yeah.
Everything else was mixtapes. So how does something create a mixtape that then becomes popular or whatever? What's the idea behind that? I don't know if you know. I'm just looking at you because you're black.
Yeah.
And that's clearly not the way to do this, but
Awesome.
From what I know from actually from my knowledge of what a mixtape is,
Right.
is something that is recorded. It's not there's no backing by any big producer. There's no backing or
No.
label. By any big label. And it's usually called underground stuff. So
It's like your demo reel.
It's it's almost like something that you've recorded, and you put it out there, not expecting anything, you know, not expecting any monetary, like it's almost like you make the CD and then you sell it on the streets.
But here's the thing, though,
right?
That has changed.
Yeah, like
but the
Immoral,
idea of that has changed.
Like, do you remember like the song that Immoral Technique released? And then another artist, who was it? Jay Electronica. I mean, those two guys have been releasing demo tapes forever, and they really haven't had any big studio.
But I don't think
big studio albums.
Manny, but I don't think that's the thing. I think a demo tape is like, if people are buying all your mixtapes, then at that point it's not a demo tape, right? Like
a perfect example is Bodak Yellow from Cardi B. Bodak Yellow was just something that she went into the studio. She did this thing. You know, it was a single. She didn't have an album at that time. She didn't even have a contract. She just did Bodak Yellow, and then it became something. It was played by the DJs in the club, which then evolved into, oh my God, who is Cardi B? We need to know more about her.
I think, the internet changes that a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's it's easier to get famous off of a mixtape now than it was, you know, in the 70s and 80s. I'll say that.
Or the 90s.
Because even for even for example, NWA, they would obviously from Straight Outta Compton, the movie, if you haven't seen it, a lot of the times,
spoiler alert,
Dr. Dre, who was a young DJ at the time, would be playing clubs and then try to get Ice Cube to come and rap on his tracks that he was playing, and that's how you kind of build yourself up in the, as they call, rap game or the hip hop game, is to perform and then get this mixtape out, right. And so the public would recognize you. And
so it's essentially a tape of your mixes that you're making.
Recognize.
I'm gonna turn his mic off. Like seriously,
what?
Dude, what are you doing?
To scream?
Is it in your mouth?
Like, what is going on there?
Like, you're just gonna shock people. Anyways,
can we cut all of his dialogue out today? Like, Jesus.
When you say dialogue, it sounds like we wrote this for him. Nobody writes this nonsense.
So before we move on, we're going to take a quick break and listen to a message from our fellow podcaster, Mr. Jesus. We'll be right back.
Mr. Jesus.
How's it going, everyone? Jesus here, aka Tyrant Dominus, the host of the Convoluted Podcast, where I get a chance to talk with people from around the world and from my own backyard about the things they love, careers they have, hobbies they enjoy, projects they're working on, and along the way, they tell us some wacky stories, and we get to play some games. Join us on the Convoluted Podcast, everywhere podcasts can be found.
You know, Tash is editing the episodes when she takes a deep break.
Now we're back, and
thank you, Mr. Jesus.
Thank you, Mr. Jesus.
Mr. Jesus.
We should make a theme song
Bring
for
us
him.
a podcast.
You know, you can hear him face palming from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What are you staring at?
I'm just looking at the time. Why can't I look at the time?
Okay. You're a weirdo.
Yeah, you are.
Anyways, so one interesting thing I know Dwayne has for us is sampling.
Which ties into the whole conversation that we were having earlier with,
Do I?
Do you? Yeah.
So we've been told.
Okay, so we were sort of talking a little bit earlier about sampling and sort of what is legal and what isn't. Right? So first of all, does everybody know what sampling is?
Yes.
For those who don't.
No.
It's when you go to Costco and get a free lunch.
That's why I wanted you to get into it quickly.
He doesn't even have a fucking membership.
He just strolls around Costco.
Costco.
I don't know how they let him in, but he keeps going in.
It's a picture of him over there. Please do not let this man or this man with a mustache walk in.
The senator's goons took a picture of
But
you.
somehow
Remember
he
that?
puts on a poncho and sombrero,
he's
and they
just
don't
he's
know
wearing
who he
He's
is.
wearing a fucking Groucho mask. Groucho
Groucho Marx
nose
knows.
and mustache.
Oh,
Do not let him in. No, so sampling is when you take like a couple of beats from a bit from another song
Right.
and use it in your song. So I have a few examples here, but a good example, I guess. So
Stan?
Stan's a good one. Stan's a funny one because so Stan by Eminem is the song where he's like pretending to be one of his fans and he's writing a thing. The hook from that song is from another song by Dido, which was the song.
Thank You or something.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. Thank you. What's odd about that one though is that she released Thank You after Stan came out. Thank You wasn't a big song beforehand. Sorry, I'm like really burpy today. It's just perfect for a podcast. Song was
awesome.
So Stan was, but this and Eminem's done that before to keep with the Aerosmith theme. He has a song called I'm forgetting all the songs.
Oh my
but
goodness.
He took a sample of Aerosmith's Dream On
Yeah.
Yes.
for a song that he did, which when I first heard it, I'd never heard the original Dream On, so I was just like, that's Steven Tyler.
Yeah, right.
You you just never really get it. But apparently, legally, so you have to wonder. Apparently, the first person who ever like really made sampling famous, because it had been done a few times before. But the first person who really, really made it popular was Stevie Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
So he used it in a. Oh God, I feel like Manny's gonna say something.
Dwayne, just to quickly interrupt, the name of the song with Eminem was Sing for the Moment.
Yes, Sing for the Moment. Thank you. So yeah, so Stevie Wonder's like 1979 album, Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants.
Such an interesting
Fucking high
title.
was he?
Through the secret life of plants.
You know what? I say that, and then I realize that one of the more famous. There's a theme going on here because there's one of the more famous samples of a recording was by David Brin and Brian Eno called "My Life in the Bush of Ghosts." So apparently, if you wrote songs about vegetation in any way, you had to sample.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But sampling is so interesting because, okay, so I mean, to me, the king of samples is Kanye West. Every song that he has is sampled, but then you realize if you take a step back and you realize that everybody takes from everybody.
Here's my question, in regards to sampling and stuff. I've noticed it throughout hip hop is the producer is huge in a lot of these in a lot of songs and stuff, right? I mean, it's obvious. It's almost obvious that the DJ is also the producer, or is at least working very closely with the producer to make sure, just to ensure of the product, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like your song is based off of how good your producer is too.
Yeah.
Right.
And Kanye West is
He's
a genius producer.
No matter what you say about him, this guy.
He may be a horrible human being, but
yeah. But
Joe, what did you think of Kanye's West song "Diamonds," where he sampled "Diamonds Are Forever"?
I loved it. Like I said, I like his music. He's got an ear. It's just his personal stuff is obviously left.
The man's got issues.
He's got issues. He's got personal issues, and
he has well documented mental issues, right?
Yeah, no, that's what we said.
yeah, that's what we're saying. Yeah, but if anything, that man knows music.
Yeah.
You can't say anything about him.
And really, that's all you can do. Right?
he's extremely talented.
The problem now is and especially with the rappers to a certain extent, you kind of hold rappers now we just decided this is the problem that going back to our last week's episode is that the Beatles have sort of caused, and the whole 60s classic rock people caused, was you're expecting like musicians to also be political.
Right. And
And
it wasn't even all the Beatles that were like that. It was like one or two.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So you expect them
Just Lennon.
So now you've got rappers, and they talk about social. Like you got rappers like Kendrick Lamar, who I think in Kanye's mind thinks that's how he wants to be.
Yeah.
You've got rappers like him and Nipsey Hussle and stuff who had like political agendas, and Jay-Z and whatever. But then you also sometimes a guy's just good at music. Like he's not a genius in anything else.
He doesn't have to be political.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be political.
He's very talented musically, right?
But yeah, like you said, the producers is so important in terms of the music, because it does change a song. Like there was a band named SWV, Sisters with Voices, and again, my mind is fucking useless today. But they sang a song where they had a Michael Jackson sample in it. And in that song, like all you hear Michael Jackson is just go something like, ah, that's all he does. Mm-hmm. But I heard a version of that song without the sample, and it sucked.
Yeah.
It just changed the song so much, right?
This is just for the listener, if you're ever wondering, I heard that song before, I heard this piece of a song before, there's a website or an app called Who Sampled.
Yeah.
Who Sampled will tell you the root of the single, and it will go into who also sampled from that single. Like it could just be a voice in there, it could be anything, and Who Sampled will tell you, will give you a history of where that song came from. So it's one of those cool things. So I use that thing all the time because I listen to music all day, and I'm wondering, where have I heard that before? And so,
hey, guys, just a question though, and I just thought of it. Has anyone sampled Prince's music? Because I know Prince was always a bit of a bitch with anyone touching anything of his.
Hold on a second.
How
First of
dare
all,
you, sir?
First of
how
all,
dare you?
Don't you ever call Prince. If anybody's a bitch in this situation,
it would take one to know one. So
I know, yeah.
Listen, okay, I read a story, and fine, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a story where where someone did like a tribute to Prince, like did a tribute to a Prince song. Prince was there, heard it, liked it, and then he turned around and sued the people for it?
Probably.
No. I think there was a thing where I got Creep and Radiohead mixed up. Where Radiohead did a version of his song. They sang it. I'm almost certain it was Radiohead that sang the version of the song. So Radiohead sang a version of one of Prince's songs, and I'll find out the name. And they sang it at a concert, and some people like uploaded the cover to YouTube, and Prince put a copyright on it, like a copyright thing, and took it down. He was very, very protective of his music, and he may have sometimes. I mean, it sounded like a lot of the times he was just like kind of an insane person, but.
But I think the difference between with Prince is that he does everything. Like he's the band on his own albums. Like he does everything.
Apparently, there's like thousands or upon thousands of songs that have been recorded and just not released.
There's thousands.
Like he's got such a back catalog of stuff that he recorded in his house.
The report is that he has upwards of 10,000 tracks that he just did, or like 10,000 samples of things.
The thing is, though, a lot of artists do that. They have a lot of music. Like that's the reason why fucking Tupac has new unreleased albums coming out. Like, but the thing is,
new stuff every day.
But like when you look at artists can.
Well, yeah, it's because he's in Cuba somewhere, right, Tash?
No, but like it's
why am I to confirm?
Take a shot.
Yeah,
everyone take a shot. He said Tash.
No, but like the thing is, artists do that. They draw things, they create things, they make stuff, and sometimes they're not happy with it, so they put it aside. The problem is when these artists die young, their families or estate holders are like, "Oh, we like this money." Like, how do you know that? The Michael Jackson coming out with a new album. Like this guy, if you ever watch that movie where he's before the concert, You know, he was
Oh,
gonna
what's
do
it
that-
called? This is it, or
This
whatever.
is it. He was
Yeah.
going to do that big concert, and then he passed away, and they needed to recoup the money. But
Like he
never-
did the whole. He was planning a tour.
Yeah, he was doing
Like
the
a
O2
huge
concert
Yeah,
and
the
all this
huge tour.
And to recoup some of that money, they released the documentary on him, like making doing that thing. The dude was insanely specific about how people did stuff. You'd see somebody like one of his dancers do like these amazing moves, and he goes, "I need you to be tighter. I need you to do it like this." And he's really like particular. Most insane artists are like that. Like Prince was a very particular guy. There's this whole story about him. Was supposed to be the Michael Jackson character in The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, we talked about this on the show
Yeah, he
too.
was supposed to write a whole episode about. They wrote a whole episode. They sent it to him. He sent it back with notes, but the notes had nothing to do with what they wrote. He just wrote his own episode and sent it back.
This is what we want to do.
And they never ended up doing it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the Kevin Smith Prince story, which is insane, and YouTube that if you need to.
Exactly.
But like all these things, when you look back at it, like this guy was insanely particular about what he wanted. There's no way that he'd want all this unreleased stuff to come up.
And according to Charlie Murphy, an amazing basketball player.
And yeah. There's also the whole thing about like Prince was like, I don't want my music on streaming services. The guy dies. All of a sudden, Prince is like
All of his catalog is on streaming
I think my
services.
Google Play sent me like a message. By the way, Prince is up. Like, because I keep looking for it, I couldn't find anything. By the way, Prince is up, and now like every album. Anyways, to answer your question, Manny, about Prince samples, there's quite a bit of people that have used samples of his songs. So there is a song called "If I Was Your Girlfriend." That Prince did in 1987. That was actually sampled in 2002 with Bonnie and Clyde from Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Wait, what song, Tash, from
If
Prince?
I Was Your Girlfriend.
You'd be very happy. Oh! Sorry.
Yeah, that would have probably been amazing if you hit it the first time.
I know, yeah.
And not
I
set
know.
it up so poorly the second time.
Seriously, can we just
I'm
cut out
sad.
what he says, like, at all?
Anyways, Raspberry Beret.
Tash, what was it called?
Raspberry.
Oh! Strawberry sorbet.
Strawberry sorbet.
Or is it raspberry sorbet? I don't know.
Anyway, so
Raspberry.
you're a real Prince connoisseur. Anyway,
I'm more of a sorbet connoisseur,
Raspberry
but
Oh,
Beret.
shut the fuck up.
Raspberry Beret was sampled in "Until the End of Time" by Justin Timberlake. That's from an album me and Dwayne really like. Wasn't
I
that
just
Future
realized-
Sex Love Songs?
Yeah, but I just realized Prince, Justin Timberlake sampled a Prince song. He fucking hated Justin
I
Timberlake.
know, yeah.
that's the best part.
Really?
Huh? Yeah, he used to make fun of Justin Timberlake all the time, which is why then people got really offended that Timberlake did the Prince stuff in Minnesota when the Super Bowl was going on a couple of years ago. Yeah, people got
Right.
really upset by that. So people get upset by a lot of things.
But-
But here we are.
Little
the
Red
thing is-
Corvette was sampled by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Change the World.
So in other words, a lot of Prince's music has been sampled.
But, Alphabet Street was sampled by 9 Inch Nails.
Yo, Alphabet Street.
Yeah.
Love that song.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that it? Because we're just looking at our phones now, guys.
No, I'm actually.
Oh, Joey comes with a notebook for a second
know,
time, and
yeah.
all of a sudden he's like, "Where'd you get those notes?" It's not like you went researched it anywhere outside your phone.
Now that he has a notebook, he's taking
We're doing it in
over.
the middle of the show, though. I,
know.
mean, come on.
But he was asking a question.
This
This week, yeah.
This week, let's calm down.
Joe's like, get on board, guys.
Yeah.
Get a notebook. God, maybe you should go to the dollar store for us. and get
Maybe
something.
Manny should look it up. Fuck.
I mean, you've answered your
On
own
that
question
note.
there.
Like,
You answered your own question there. Like,
I know.
relax.
Okay, so before we go, who do you think is the best rapper? We'll go into rap right now because again, it's part of hip hop. Who do you think is the best rapper of all time? Go.
Dylon.
Dylon.
Because he spits hot fire.
Yeah. Dylon.
Little Dicky.
Little Dicky. Excellent.
Amazing.
Manny. Little Dicky. Anyway,
Is Manny even here?
I don't know.
I'm here. I
question we
actually
all
don't
ask.
have an answer.
He
I
doesn't
actually
have-
don't have an answer to this.
Actually,
You know what I love? That we just never talked about women in hip hop.
yeah,
We didn't.
Well,
We skipped
but we
it
can.
over.
There's always more time. But
There isn't.
yeah, but there isn't. But I would have to, as in what he's done for hip hop. It's a very. I would think either Tupac or Biggie would take number one. I just wanted to quickly.
But influentially,
I would say Notorious B.I.G. Honest to God.
that's
what I would
just your
say.
opinion.
Yeah, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But I'll tell you what Billboard Music thinks is the 10 best rappers of all time. So I'll go through this quickly. Number 10, Lil Wayne. Number 9,
Top 10, top 10, top 10.
Top 10.
Thank you, Billboard.
Yeah, thanks, Billboard. Number 9, Kendrick Lamar. Number 8, Ghostface Killah from who? Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Number 7 is an
Which is
interesting
why
one.
we did not fuck with them this match.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wu-Tang needs their own. I don't care. They need their own. Number 7 is an interesting one. Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill.
As we
Oh
go
shit! I
into
forgot about her.
Yeah, Lauryn Hill.
Wow.
Well, it's like
Yeah, you did.
number,
That's upsetting.
Number 6, Andre 3000, which we didn't get to talk about Outkast today, but I'm sure we'll.
We didn't
have a
talk
little
about
something.
Missy or Queen Latifah or anyone.
No,
I'm kind of upset at myself for
yeah, it's okay.
all of us for that.
It's okay. Next time, just write a couple more notes in your notebook.
I will.
I will. This is a whole notebook. Number 5.
I gotta
Nas.
use it up now.
Nas is actually really good.
Nas. Oh yeah, he
Nas
is
really
fantastic.
good. He's really good. Yeah, you don't know anything.
Guys,
about
every time Manny agrees with Tash, you should be taking a shot.
it. Yeah, exactly.
I do know Nas. Okay, go on.
I do know Nas.
I do.
Number 4 is Rakim. Do you guys know who Rakim is?
Also from the Wu-Tang.
No.
Yeah. No.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
So, and Rakim has been very influential on Nas and Kendrick Lamar. So, if you want to look up some Rakim singles, pretty good. Number 3, Eminem. That's kind of shocking. I would have think.
Why would you say it's shocking?
For how low he is or how high he is?
How high how low he is on there.
You'd expect him to be.
As an influential, I would probably put him at number 2. But right now, number 2 is Jay-Z, which is still
I
I
would
can
agree with that.
accept
Who's
it.
sitting at number 1 compared
Who's
to
sitting at number 1 is
Yeah.
I was right. Notorious B.I.G.
I was
Weird
right.
thing is
Wow.
Tupac is not in this list.
Yeah, and Tupac used to write a lot. In fact, Tupac was known as a poet in high school.
I already told you about this stuff.
I know.
Don't repeat what I say as it's yours.
Well, Tash, that episode was a while ago, and yes, I knew that fact too. I'm sorry, Tash. I just said it. I just said what you said, but better.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He just liked the way he said it better.
Yeah. Oh, but that rounds up our top 10. I did it quickly because we're
You
running out of
stole
time,
it from somebody else.
Yeah, and I stole it from somebody else. That's why I wrapped it up quickly. But
Sorry. You sampled it from somebody
I
else.
sampled.
All right,
yeah.
quick question,
Oh,
Tash. Who are your? We can talk about some of the women in hip hop. Who are your 3 favorite female hip hop artists?
I would definitely say Little Kim.
Lil.
Lil' Kim.
she's
Lil'
great.
Kim.
Yeah.
You don't know Lil Kim anymore.
Manny's going by who's he's masturbated to. So continue anyway.
Little Kim. I will definitely say Eve is probably on that list.
Really?
And, like,
Wait, who's that girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As,
I like what you did there. Though.
I mean, she was a Rough Rider before. So I would say Eve for me is on my list, and
Does Missy Elliott on your list?
Missy Elliott is on the list. I think she would round out the top 5, but because I want to pick someone from back then, someone from like the 2000s, and someone from now. I think now Lizzo, who is a new up and
I
coming.
didn't like it, Lizzo, man.
She is doing it for me. I don't know what it is.
I'm not 100% sure. I think I've listened to one song of Lizzo's, but I like Lizzo's Instagram.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to. Well then.
Yeah, like she is the bomb. If you guys, if anybody can go and just download the song "Truth Hurts," it's amazing. It is amazing, and I can't wait to see what she does going forward because she's in that bracket of pop, hip hop, and
A little bit R&B.
and then a little bit of R&B. Like she can pretty much do everything.
I feel like you've mentioned has she mentioned 4, or is it 3 people you've mentioned?
I just mentioned 3. Okay,
can you think of 2 more?
2 more. I'm
You're
going
not
to
gonna-
say Cardi B is Cardi. There's something about Cardi that I just love. She's so real.
Cardi B. Okay. So here's the
Are you
thing with
guys going to
Cardi B.
give me shit for agreeing with Tash on this? Because
There's another shot.
I've been done.
Take another
Cardi,
shot though.
Cardi B, I like Cardi B too, but I think Cardi B is basically the Jennifer Lawrence of rap.
Yeah.
Everybody just likes her because she's real.
Yeah.
And then eventually people are just gonna come out and be like, oh, okay, so she's just saying what people.
But
say.
I think Cardi can do something. I think she's better. Like she can do more than she's capable of right now. I think in the next, you'll still hear about Cardi B in 10 years. That's what I'm going to say about that.
that Fashion Nova money comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Also,
And we all know
Yeah.
Manny loves Cardi B.
I love those like old school rap, like Raw Digga.
I think you can say that on the pod.
Yeah, Raw Digga. I mean, I love Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott is one of the most talented people that's out there right now. She's absolutely fantastic.
I know you're gonna hate me for this, and I know you hate her, but like you can't not say Nicki Minaj. You can't. You just like I know you got your problems with her, and I know you got your problems, and again, sampling queen too.
Yeah.
But like you can't not say Nicki Minaj. Like
Nicki has. I still have Nicki Minaj music on my phone. Like it's. Okay, then it goes into the personal and the music, and I think there's too much of her personal in the music, and that's why I'm kind of like,
and Cardi and
Cardi and on Offset,
yeah, that's fine, right?
Yeah,
Fuck you.
they're fine. 'Cause
Fuck you.
I love Offset. I love them. They're just so cute together. Anyway, so any other women rappers? Queen Latifah.
I like that one song. Will Smith's cousin.
Will Smith's cousin. Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah, Manny, you were saying?
Yeah, you stopped.
No, you know what? Basically, as we were going through the roster stuff, do you guys remember there was a video game where it was rappers fighting Def Jam fights or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Def Jam
Yeah.
MMA.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So where does Shaq's rap album fall in on all this episode, guys?
Number 1. Like it's not even
That would be-
not
Of
even a
course.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's number
Kinda
1.
wish
It's
Nick
between
Cage
his
had a
album.
rap album.
It's between his album and Kobe's. Do you remember Kobe's fucking album? The only
Hey,
thing I
Kobe,
remember
how
of-
my ass taste.
only thing I remember about Kobe's album was the fact that Tyra Banks was in the music video, and that was it.
That's probably all you need to
Okay.
remember.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tash.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to throw one last question out there because I know we're finished this off and it's a little controversial. Well, the person is controversial, but where does R. Kelly sit?
He's an R&B.
He's an
He's
R&B,
R&B.
and so he doesn't sit anywhere on hip hop. Next question.
Probably on a 14-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna edit that out.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
It's staying in the show.
Anyway, so I just want to give a quick shout out to even the female rappers that I missed: Lauryn Hill, Foxy Brown, MC Light.
Oh,
I don't
Foxy
know.
Brown.
Foxy Brown.
I remember Fox.
The hot spot.
Mary J. Blige?
No,
She's hip hop. She's not hip hop. Sorry, she's R&B.
She's R&B.
Yeah.
So angry.
He's so upset about this.
Da Brat.
Oh shit, the brat.
Da Brat. Remy Ma. Oh, I can't believe
Quick
Remy
question.
Ma was okay till she released a second.
I know. Angel Hayes. Oh, big up. Sorry. One quick thing. Big up to Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
Here's my question.
Big up to her.
To in regards to TLC, are they R&B or are they rap? Where do they fit in that spectrum? Or are they dead center of both?
They're the dead center of both, and because their group, I mean, the other two are singers, so T-Boz and Chili are singers, and Lisa is technically, but she was a rapper, so it just there's just a fine line. There's just a fine line for them, and that's why I wanted to give it up for Lisa because.
What about Salt and Pepper?
Salt and Pepper, yeah.
Salt and Pepper's here.
Anyways, but big up to the female rappers. We'll hopefully do a little bit of something.
We could always
for them.
do another episode where we just concentrate on female rappers too.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
That sounded so creepy when I said it, and I'm sorry.
So gross.
Sure,
I'm apologizing
that
for.
will be highly controversial. I'm sure we'll be fine.
And,
I'm gonna remove myself from that episode just in
the one I was
case.
worried about.
anyway,
I know that.
Old pantless Tito uncle up there.
I feel like our creepy Tito over there is just doing episodes without pants on now that he's not in the room with us. And
You assume your mistake is assuming I ever am not pantless.
you're not pantsless when you're in my fucking house. That's for sure.
That's what you think. He's just painted on when he comes here.
Oh, gross.
Anyways, to wrap it up.
Me,
You said
me be
rap.
pantless.
Oh! And that's
I
it.
get it. Oh, I got it.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh my god.
Now, is there like a
Thanks.
delay?
Your mind?
Yeah. It is
Like,
yeah.
is there like a 5-second delay with everything you hear from us? Like, what's going on?
What I really enjoyed about this episode, we talked a lot about classic rock.
I know.
Strangely enough.
We really did classic rock justice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
okay.
know.
So to all those hip hop lovers
Classic
out
rock.
there,
Shut
up. To all those classic, no, see you messed me up. To all those hip hop lovers out there, we want peace, love, unite, be one.
What are you going on?
All that
You
stuff.
just singing a fucking
Yeah,
Bob
I'm
Marley
just-
song?
yeah, I'm singing- yeah.
Peace, love, unite. Hey.
That's not even rapper
Rasta.
hip hop. What are you
Anyways.
going on about?
But please listen to hip hop. Keep it alive. Again, hip hop is.
I don't think hip hop's going
There's
anywhere.
4 elements. Just be part of the culture. That's how I do it. And my name is Tasha Morrison. I have to say that's my jury's thought of the day.
If we're part of the culture, aren't we also appropriating it?
No.
My name is Dwayne Naroda.
Yeah, wait. If I'm part of I'm definitely appropriating it.
Yeah.
Nah, you're Black Irish, bro. You're okay.
Yeah, you're the black.
I'm Joey Mangione.
It's your turn.
For Dwayne and Joe and Tasha and me, this is Manny saying thank you for listening to No Inner Monologue. Listen to more episode 3. I tried to rhyme it.
Don't choose
So-
combo number 5.
Just
Bye-bye.
Don't choose.
Episode 3. What the fuck?